My name is Bianca, and today I'll be talking about emerging nutritional science, nutritional supplements, and ergogenic aids. Let's start off by meeting the volunteer chosen for this assignment. The volunteer's name is Ludwig van der Westhuizen, a 28-year-old male who currently weighs 80 kilograms and has set a personal goal to lose 5 kilograms. Data for this nutritional analysis was gathered using a digital survey and a detailed 5-day food log. He reported that he is currently not exercising due to a recent illness and an increase in work responsibilities. However, prior to this period, he engaged in resistance training 1 to 3 times per week, depending on his schedule. He currently follows a calorie-restricted eating plan and has made a personal effort to reduce bread intake, as he sometimes experiences discomfort when consuming it. From the survey, he indicated moderate levels of stress and noted that this sometimes affects his eating habits and routine. He consumes creatine monohydrate, 5 grams, only when he is exercising, as a supplement to support muscle maintenance and training outcomes. His primary goals are to reduce body fat, improve energy levels, and maintain muscle mass throughout the weight loss process. He consumes an average of 5,900 kilojoules per day, which is much less than his estimated total daily energy expenditure of 11,450 kilojoules, according to an analysis of his food log. This results in a significant daily energy deficit. Although his macronutrient distribution is roughly 20.9% protein, 40% carbs, and 39.5% fat, his daily protein intake of about 72.5 grams is significantly less than the 112 to 160 gram range that is advised for a moderately active person who wants to lose fat. He typically only eats 2 or 3 meals a day, and his meals are irregular in size as well as timing. He also frequently consumes processed high GI foods and consumes little in the way of vegetables, whole grains, and lean protein. The following suggestions were offered in light of these findings to assist him in reaching his objective. Reduce high GI and processed foods in favor of whole grains, legumes, and vegetables. Eat at least 3 to 5 servings of vegetables daily to improve fiber and micronutrient intake. Increase water intake to 2 to 2.5 liters per day, especially on training days, and increase protein intake to at least 112 to 130 grams per day. These techniques are intended to promote long-term fat loss success, muscle prevention, and energy balance. Average daily caloric intake. Over a 5-day period, the client logged his food intake. Of those 5 days, the total kilojoules of all of the days are 29,500 kilojoules. The average daily intake is 5,900 kilojoules. Percentage of caloric intake provided by each macronutrient. Starting off with protein. The percentage of total daily intake for protein is 20.88%. Moving on to carbohydrates. The percentage of total daily intake is 40%. And lastly, fat. The percentage of total daily intake for fat is 39.5%. Resting metabolic rate and total daily energy expenditure. The resting metabolic rate is 7,389 kilojoules. The total daily energy expenditure is 5,552 kilojoules. According to these calculations, the volunteer is consuming approximately 48.5% less energy than their estimated energy needs. Suggested daily protein intake. The actual protein intake of the volunteer is 72.5 grams of protein per day. Recommendations for protein intake differ depending on the activity level and the goal. People who regularly perform resistance exercises or who want to maintain lean muscle mass while at the same time lose weight could consume around 112 to 160 grams of protein per day. According to the digital survey, the volunteer consumed 72.5 grams of protein per day, which is significantly less than the recommended intake. The volunteer's protein requirements for this activity level and fat loss goal are not being met. This may cause things such as impaired muscle retention, slow recovery from training, reduced metabolic rate, and it can cause them to be hungry more often. Comparing the recommended daily intake and to the actual intake, the recommended daily intake is 112 to 160 grams of protein per day. The actual intake is 72.5 grams per day. The difference is more or less 40 to 87.5 grams per day. Supplements or ergogenic aid. Currently, the volunteer uses creatine monohydrate, which is categorized as an ergogenic aid as well as a dietary supplement. As a supplement, creatine is a substance that is naturally occurring and is made by the kidneys, liver, and pancreas, and is present in small amounts in animal-based food. It is one of the most thoroughly studied and successful legal ergogenic aid for improving performance in brief, high-intensity exercises. The body's phosphagen system, which powers quick bursts of muscle recovery such as running, strength training, and resistance training, depends heavily on creatine. During brief, intense, explosive movements, it boosts the body's phosphocreatine stores in muscle tissue, which are used to regenerate ATP, the main energy molecule. Athletes and recreational lifters can put in more effort during training as a result of increased strength, muscle endurance, and power output. Supplementing with creatine is functionally appropriate for this volunteer. It enhances intensity and recovery, supports a resistance training regime, and might aid in maintaining lean muscle mass following a calorie deficit weight loss plan. Although these effects are still being studied, new research also points to additional advantages such as enhanced cognitive function under stress as well as fatigue. All things considered, creatine is safe and a useful supplement that supports the volunteers' goals of increased energy, muscle maintenance, and performance. As mentioned in the previous question, creatine monohydrate is one of the most thoroughly studied and successful legal ergogenic aid for performing performance in brief high-intensity exercises. A number of different high-quality studies and meta-analyses have demonstrated its effectiveness in enhancing muscular strength, power output, exercise performance, and fat-free mass gains, particularly in the context of high-intensity training. It has been shown that taking creatine supplements greatly enhances performance during repeatedly high-intensity brief exercise sessions, such as sprinting and resistance training. Additionally, creatine has been shown to assist people on calorie-restricted diets in maintaining lean muscle mass, which is especially important for this volunteer's weight loss goal. Research has confirmed that taking creatine in the right dosages, it is safe for long-term use in healthy individuals, and no negative side effects have been documented in clinical populations. When the volunteer exercises, they consume 5 grams of creatine monohydrate, which is dissolved in 250 milliliters of water. This dosage aligns with the widely recommended maintenance dosage for creatine supplementation, which for healthy adults doing resistance training falls between 3 to 5 grams daily. This volume is appropriate and supported by evidence considering the client's body weight of 80 kilograms, moderate level of activity 3 times a week, and a goal of weight loss while maintaining muscle mass. Daily consistency is essential for maintaining high muscle phosphocreatine stores, but exact timing of creatine intake is not necessary. Even when taking into consideration dietary creatine from animal products like meat or fish, which contribute only trace amounts, roughly 0.3 to 0.5 grams per 100 grams of meat, the volunteer's current dosage is unlikely to surpass safety thresholds. Since he consumes less protein overall than is advised, his dietary creatine intake is also probably low, which supports the need for the supplement. The supplement volume fits perfectly with the demands of his sport. Even though the volunteer isn't competing at a professional level, his resistance training requires a lot from his short-term energy system and muscular strength, areas where creatine has consistently proven to be beneficial. Therefore, a daily dose of 5 grams is not only suitable but also safe and effective, considering the client's goal, training routine, nutritional habits, as well as their personal characteristics. The volunteer's general diet reflects significant variation in portion size, nutrient balance, and meal timing in relation to his energy needs and training goals. With an average daily intake of approximately 5,900 kilojoules, well below his estimate requirement of 11,450 kilojoules per day for a moderately active 80 kilogram male. He is consuming only about 51% of his total daily energy needs. Protein intake is also insufficient, averaging 72.5 grams a day versus the recommended 112 to 160 grams per day, which limits muscle recovery and lean mass preservation during resistance training. Meals are often energy dense but nutrient poor, with large portions of high fat refined foods such as pizza, hash browns, and zinger rings, and minimal intake of vegetables, fiber, or lean proteins. In terms of meal timing, the client typically eats 2 to 3 times per day, with skip breakfast and irregular snacking, which may impair energy availability and recovery. He does not consistently consume a post-exercise meal, reducing the effectiveness of his training. His reliance on high glycemic index and processed foods results in poor nutrient density and insufficient intake of whole grains, unsaturated fats, and micronutrients. These dietary habits do not support his personal goals of fat loss and increased energy, and improvements in portion balance and nutrient-dense food choices and structured eating patterns are strongly recommended to better align with both his physical activity and health outcomes. Nutritional recommendations. Based on the volunteer's current intake, and habits, the following 5 nutritional recommendations are suggested to help him achieve his goals of reducing fat, boosting energy, and maintaining muscle mass. Firstly, to promote muscle mass recovery, enhance satiety, and promote fat loss, the volunteer needs to raise their daily protein intake to at least 112 to 130 grams per day, split evenly between 3 and 4 meals. The current 40 to 55 gram deficit can be filled in part by taking lean protein sources such as Greek yogurt, eggs, chicken, and legumes. To stabilize energy levels and encourage better nutrient timing for recovery and muscle retention, they can try to eat 3 balanced meals a day along with 1 scheduled snack, especially after working out. They can enhance energy regulation, glycemic control, and micronutrient density by substituting low GI fiber-rich carbohydrates such as oats, sweet potatoes, legumes, and brown rice for high GI processed foods like white bread, pizza, and hash browns. They should eat 3 to 5 servings of vegetables a day, adding different colors to increase their intake of fiber, antioxidants, and micronutrients. This will also assist them in controlling their appetite when they're on a calorie deficit. Since the current intake 1 to 1.5 liters is below recommendation. They can make sure they consume 2 to 2.5 liters of fluids per day, especially on training days, to improve hydration status, cognitive function, and recovery. When these adjustments are made regularly, the volunteer will be able to maintain energy, lean mass, and training performance while establishing a sustainable calorie deficit.